Superb bird of paradise. Imagine going on a date and your outfit was so dark it absorbed 99.95% of all visible light. That's not a metaphor. In the rainforests of New Guinea, the superb bird of paradise has evolved cape feathers with microscopic barbule structures so light absorbent they rival vantablack, the material NASA uses to coat telescope interiors. But the darkness isn't the point. It's the setup. During his display, the male fans his cape into an oval disc, tucks his head, and starts bouncing side to side. What appears is an ink-black void with two electric blue dots pulsing rhythmically. It looks like an alien emoji auditioning for a nightclub. The super black didn't evolve for camouflage. It evolved for contrast. By absorbing virtually all surrounding light, the iridescent breast spots appear to float in empty space, brighter than they look against any other background. It's the same principle stage designers use with black curtains and spotlights, except evolution built it into plumage over millions of years. A living vantablack suit, engineered for dating purposes. It traded visibility itself for seduction. Females reject up to 20 males before choosing one. He evolved the blackest material in nature, and she still might say no. Blue-footed Booby. Your body already signals your health. Skin clarity, energy, posture. This bird does the same thing, but with neon blue feet that update in real time. The blue-footed Booby's courtship is a slow-motion strut. One bright blue foot lifted, held, placed, then the other. It looks like a runway walk performed by someone deeply proud of their shoes. But here's the thing. Most people assume the blue is a fixed pigment, like a parrot's feathers. It's not. The color comes from carotenoid pigments obtained exclusively from fresh fish, and those same carotenoids also power the bird's immune system. A male can't fake bright feet without being genuinely healthy. Evolution built an unforgeable resume into his toes. 2 days without a good meal and his feet visibly fade. Imagine if your dating profile photo updated based on your last 48 hours of meals. That's what the female's reading when she watches him strut. The brightness tells her how well he's eating, how strong his immune response is, whether his genes are worth passing on. It's closer to a medical readout than a paint job. Skip 2 meals and your feet rat you out. There's no catfishing when your health is literally glowing from your toes. Magnificent Frigatebird. Imagine your entire dating strategy was inflating part of your body to absurd proportions and then just waiting. The magnificent Frigatebird does exactly that. Males inflate a bright red gular sac to the size of a basketball, sometimes as tall as the bird itself, and it takes 20 to 30 minutes of trapped air to get there. Then he holds it, all day, multiple days in a row. His entire mating season is one long red balloon he can't put down. Groups of males perch together on branches, each with a shiny red sphere protruding from his throat, clacking their beaks so the sound resonates inside the pouch like a drum. It looks like a nature documentary crossed with a balloon festival. The pouch is an honest signal you can't fake. A bird with parasites or poor nutrition can't maintain the vivid red coloration or sustain inflation for hours on end. Every minute he holds it, he's proving he can afford to. He can't eat, he can't fly, he can barely move, but the balloon stays up. That's the whole strategy. Peacock Spider. Most spiders rely on webs or venom. This one relies on dance moves and a wardrobe change. The peacock spider is smaller than a sesame seed, about 5 millimeters long, and it performs the most elaborate, choreographed routine in the arachnid world. The male unfolds a pair of colorful abdominal flaps like a fan, raises his third pair of legs like tiny flags, and starts drumming his pedipalps while vibrating the ground beneath him. Evolution gave a 5 millimeter spider a full disco setup. The visual display hooks the female's attention, the vibrations sustain it, and the leg semaphore fills in the gaps. All of it runs simultaneously, coordinated by a brain the size of a poppy seed. Nearly 100 Muratus species have been described so far, almost all from Australia, each with its own unique pattern and routine. The flaps unfurl into kaleidoscopes of iridescent blues, reds, and oranges, the whole production looking like a Mardi Gras float operated by a single grain of rice. and the display can last 50 minutes. A spider smaller than a sesame seed dances for longer than most humans can hold a conversation on a first date. If she's not impressed after 50 minutes, she eats him. That's the review system. 1 star and your lunch. In nature, the line between a love song and a death sentence is thinner than you'd think. Western grebe. Walking on water is supposed to be impossible for anything this size. Western grebes do it at a full sprint, in pairs, on a first date. The rushing ceremony is one of the most dramatic courtship displays in the bird world. Both birds rear up, bodies almost vertical, and sprint across the water surface side by side for up to 20 meters in about 7 seconds. Their feet slap the surface at 14 to 20 steps per second, faster than a hummingbird's wing beat rhythm. Each step generates only 30 to 55% of the force needed to stay above water. The rest comes from pushing the foot beneath the surface mid-stride. Miss the timing, and you sink. Every rushing ceremony is a controlled drowning. 20 steps a second, and if they stop, they go under. The synchronization isn't just spectacle. Grebes share all nesting duties equally, and the ceremony tests whether 2 birds can match each other's rhythm under extreme physical stress. A partner who can't keep pace on water won't keep pace in the nest. 1 stumble and you sink. 1 hesitation and she's gone. It's the highest stakes first date in the animal kingdom, and it happens at 20 steps a second. Satin Bowerbird. Collecting blue objects isn't a hobby for the Satin Bowerbird. It's an arms race, complete with theft, espionage, and psychological warfare. Males build stick bowers and decorate them exclusively with blue things. Feathers, berries, pen caps, straws, bottle caps, anything blue they can find. They routinely destroy and steal from rival bowers, but the real move belongs to the juveniles. Young males disguise themselves as females, sneak into a rival's bower during an active courtship display, and rob him mid-performance. A cross-dressing heist. In a bird. And the females aren't passive about any of this. They inspect bowers when males aren't home, pre-screening the collection before the audition even begins. Now, what looks like a random pile of blue junk to us is actually something else entirely. The objects preferentially reflect ultraviolet light, which birds can see but humans can't. He's curating a UV gallery in a color spectrum we can't fully perceive. The collection signals persistence, territory defense, and cognitive ability. A well-stocked bower means the male can gather and protect resources simultaneously. He builds a gallery, curates it in a color spectrum we can't fully see, defends it from saboteurs, and performs for an audience that already judged him before she arrived. Red-capped Manakin. This bird doesn't just dance. It slides backward on a branch so fast that the human eye can't track the individual steps. In the rainforests of Central America, red-capped manakins gather in leks, competitive display arenas where each male claims a cleared branch as his personal stage. When a female arrives, he executes a rapid backward slide, a smooth, gliding moonwalk that happens in a fraction of a second. Scientists had to film it at 500 frames per second, the same frame rate used to capture bullet impacts, just to see what was actually happening. The speed signals neuromuscular fitness. Lekking concentrates the best performers in one area, letting females comparison shop, and the moonwalk's precision tells her everything she needs to know about his nervous system. Each male repeats the slide dozens of times, a blur of scarlet cap gliding backward along the branch as if the laws of physics briefly stopped applying. Michael Jackson debuted the moonwalk in 1983. This bird's been doing it for roughly 15 million years, and it never needed a stage. Hooded grebe. This bird wasn't even discovered until 1974, one of the last bird species identified in the 20th century. Found on remote Patagonian lakes in Argentina, the hooded grebe performs the most choreographically complex courtship display ever documented in birds. The full routine includes rushing, synchronized head shaking, pirouetting, bow jumping, and rising chest to chest with bills pointed at the sky. Each stage tests a different physical capability: speed, coordination, stamina, timing. It's the most thorough audition in the bird world. And the cast is disappearing. The hooded grebe is critically endangered. Its population has declined roughly 80% in 25 years. Fewer than 800 individuals remain. Invasive American mink, introduced rainbow trout, and climate-driven lake drying have pushed this species to the edge. A dance that took millions of years to evolve is now being performed by a population that could fit inside a single theater. Two birds rising from the water chest to chest, crests fully fanned, bills pointed at the Patagonian sky. A synchronized tango on a lake that may not exist in 20 years. We found them in 1974. By the time we understood the dance, we were already watching the final performances. Great Bowerbird. This bird doesn't just build a structure. It arranges objects by size to manipulate how the female perceives reality. The great bowerbird constructs a stick avenue about 2 to 3 feet long with 2 parallel walls, opening onto a display court covered in collected objects, bones, shells, stones. He arranges them in a precise size gradient, small objects near the avenue entrance, large objects farther away. When the female stands inside the avenue and looks out, the gradient creates forced perspective, making the court appear smaller and the male appear larger. It's the same optical trick filmmakers used in Lord of the Rings to make hobbits look small. And this isn't accidental. When researchers reversed the size order, males corrected it within 3 days. Deliberate, maintained geometry with a measurable effect on mating success. Now here's what most people get wrong. Bowers aren't nests. The female never lives in or uses the structure. It's purely a display gallery, built for one audience, with an exhibition designed to warp her perception of scale. He's using the same visual technique as Renaissance painters. He's never seen a painting. He's never seen a Renaissance. He just knows where the bones go. Evolution doesn't care how ridiculous you look. It only cares whether it works. Club-winged Manakin. Most birds sing with their throats. This one sacrificed its ability to fly well so it could sing with its wings. The club-winged Manakin produces a sustained, pure, violin-like tone by knocking specialized club-shaped wing feathers together across its back 107 times per second. A pick feather slides across 7 ridges on a club feather, 14 contacts per knock cycle. 107 knocks times 14 contacts equals roughly 1,500 vibrations per second, the same frequency as the highest note on a piano. Built from bone and feather. Here's the part that confused scientists. This mechanism, called stridulation, is how crickets and katydids make sound. It had never been documented in a vertebrate before. The club-winged Manakin is the only bird on Earth that plays its own skeleton like an instrument, and the cost is real. Its wing bones are solid instead of hollow, 3.5 times denser than any similar birds. Hollow bones are what make birds light enough to fly efficiently, and this species traded that away. It flies worse than every relative, but it sounds better than all of them. Everything it lost in the air, it gained on the branch. It evolved bones too heavy to fly well, wings too stiff to maneuver, and a song that makes every female in earshot stop moving. Evolution decided music was worth more than flight. If you're enjoying this, go ahead and hit subscribe. We cover the weirdest, wildest stuff in the animal kingdom, and there's a lot more coming. Thanks. Japanese pufferfish. Scientists found the circles on the seafloor before they found the fish. For years, nobody knew what was making them. Perfectly symmetrical, geometric rosettes, about 7 feet across, etched into the sand with concentric ridges radiating outward like crop circles. The architect turned out to be a white-spotted pufferfish, roughly 5 inches long. He builds the entire structure using nothing but his fins, sculpting the seafloor for 7 to 9 days of continuous work. That ratio is like a human building a 112-foot structure by hand with no tools in 9 days, then waiting for one person to walk through and decide if it's good enough. The ridges and valleys aren't decorative. They funnel fine sediment particles toward the center, creating an ideal surface for egg deposition. It's functional fluid dynamics, executed by a fish with a brain the size of a peppercorn. He decorates the finished circle with shell and coral fragments. Then he waits. One female swims over to inspect. And this is where the cost of courtship reaches its final form. He works for 9 days straight. He sculpts a 7-foot circle with his fins. He decorates it with shells. She swims over, looks around, and leaves. And he erases the whole thing and starts again. That's the system. If you made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person who should be subscribed. There's a lot more of this coming, and it only gets weirder from here. Thanks for watching.